Hi everyone, Bird Noises here. Today I want to talk about Silent Voice from Yoshitoki Oima. It is by far one of my favorite stories, so I'm excited about this. The story does involve some act of unalive, and there's a whole lot of discussion of depression that can be said here, and there are a very realistic depiction of bullying. And by realistic, I don't mean the public discourse where adults goes, "Oh, these kids need to do something. Oh, they need to fight back. You know, it's not that kind of public discourse where adults trying to shove their responsibilities to the children, but it's a more realistic depiction because Shoya, the main character of the story here, actually is the one who bullies people when he's a child, and then he also got to be the one who is bullied. So he has experienced both sides, which makes the storytelling of the bullying have more nuance in it. So to get back to the story for a little bit, Shoko, a deaf girl, moved into Shoya's school when they're still a child, and the school and its kids need to change their usual way because they need to be able to also include Shoko in these activities, and they're still kids, right? They're not equipped to do all these things, but the adults around them also is not really good at helping them to deal with these changes. So Shoya, because he's still a kid, he didn't know any better. It's not to excuse him, but in order for us to sympathize with him, we need to understand this. And then the school eventually got into bullying her too because of Shoya, and then it eventually escalated, and Shoya get into trouble and Shoko need to move away. And then Shoya got to be the one who is bullied because, well, he's the scapegoat of the situation. And then some time passes, and then eventually they got into high school. And Shoya tries to track down Shoko because, well, this is a story of his redemption. But it's not just that. You need to read it to understand about the nuances because it's too complex for me to explain it in a short video that will exclude a lot of the story. The story is very believable, the character is very believable. Like I said, the bullying part is more than just black and white, there's more nuance in it. And as with almost every children's bullying, somewhere in the equation there's always adults at fault, but for some reason, as I said previously, the children had to be the one responsible defending themselves. Then there's also the realistic depiction of self-hatred, depression, and a lot of these very complex things that you experience when you're young or whether you're already older. The story finds a balance in telling between self-acceptance and self-loathing or self-critical, and each of the characters in the story needs to find where they stand before they manage to find the balance in them. Like for example, Shoko, she hates herself because she's deaf and she knows she's different, and everybody in her life also makes her know that she's different. Or like Shoya, where he knows that he made a mistake that he himself cannot forgive, and a lot of the people that used to be his friend also let him know that, well, she's not to be forgiven, and they need to find forgiveness for themselves and self-acceptance before they'll eventually move on. Through this unique experience with each other, and a lot of the people surrounds them, the characters that surrounds them. They'll learn about a lot of things in the story that I hope more people get to experience it. Okay, the manga have more story to offer. Some of the characters get more fleshed out because in the anime there's a lot of story that is cut down for time, and the problem with a really good storytelling, anything you cut the good part of it. But the anime adaptation got really well animated from Kyoto Animation, and then they also got the amazing voice acting by all of the cast, both in Japanese and English voice acting. And then there's also the amazing music from one of my favorite composer of all time, Kensuke Ushio. I highly recommend Silent Voice. I think it's one of the greatest story of all time, and it's definitely one of my favorite story of all time. That's about it.